The number 2 foods that I am eating today and why on the Holistic Low Carb Method for women over 50. So, what am I up to? Hi, I'm Lori, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, here to let you know how to do this, why I'm doing it, what you can do too, and to understand the science and the method behind my madness as I live my low carb lifestyle, which is my aging beautifully and adventurously lifestyle. And I have created the Holistic Low Carb Method from my lived experience and all the education that I've been having over the past 25 years. And I'm just fired up and excited to share all this with you. And I'm doing this without any notes today because it's coming from my heart and it's part of what I am doing daily with my lifestyle. So I have lost 100 pounds, used to weigh 225 pounds. So you guys all know that if you've been following me. I have been between 129 and 131. So been hanging out at 130 these past couple of days for the most part. That's my average. And gosh darn it, I'm determined to get back down to 125 pounds. So this is what I'm doing. And this is how the mindset is that you want to have. You want to think about what it is that you can do on a regular basis and how can you live your lifestyle so that you could create the health you want and reclaim the health you want, or to claim the health that you want to have to live your best life. And that's why I call it aging beautifully and adventurously, because I'm aging adventurously, living the life that I want to live, having health freedom and freedom and adventure. Because the more I do this business, and I've created this business so that I can have this type of freedom, but I'm also living my purpose, living my mission, living my pain to purpose process, which is my promise to come out here to you on 5 o'clock Pacific time at the end of my day so that you can also create the lifestyle that you want to have to live your best life. And is it hard? I don't think it's really that hard. I think it's just that if you don't have the knowledge and you don't know what you don't know and you don't know where you need to go, that part can be hard. And I just put out part 1 of an email, that list going out to my email list. So if you would like to get on my email, you can go to my bio and my links here on Instagram, or you can DM me on YouTube, direct message me, or also direct message me, or it's going out tomorrow at 7 a.m. So if you do miss the one that's going out, just let me know you'd like it and I'll send it over to you. Just give me your email and I'll get it all set up. And then the day after tomorrow is going to be a health adventure day that I'm having with with my client who lives local. So if you are my client and we're local in Southern California, within 3 hours, I consider that local, then I'm going to come out and do a health adventure day with you. And that's something that's super exciting for me. It's kind of like a little mini retreat. But currently, if you want information, get on my email list. I've got a juicy one coming out on arthritis, aches and pains. You don't have to suffer. One of the reasons I eat the way I eat and I do what I do is because I don't want to have pain and inflammation in my body. But when I first started this, believe it or not, I just did it for weight loss, just like you. You know, people aren't thinking that they have pain and that they could actually get rid of pain. I mean, a lot of the times we just think it's aging. We don't really understand that aches and pains are inflammation. And so that's what my email is going over. And it's going to be part 1 tomorrow and part 2 on the next day. And so let me know if you'd like to get on my email list and just keep up. You know, some days it's more informational, sometimes it's more inspirational, but it's always going to be there for you. I am here to empower you. This is my mission. I'm living my purpose. And I want you to be able to redesign and recreate the health that you want to live, to age beautifully and adventurously after 50. You do not have to accept being sick at all. I don't get sick. I haven't even had you know what, back in 2020. I completely skipped it. I don't know. I mean, I lived with somebody who had it and I traveled. I didn't really wear a mask. I didn't want to wear a mask. That was my choice. And only wore it when I was forced to, and just got out, got hiking, got movement, got in the sunlight. But I also ate the right food for my body that increased my immunity, that gave me immunity, because the food I ate has zinc in it. And I wasn't I didn't have inflammation, so my body didn't have to fight very hard. So it was able to fight off whatever virus would come into my body. And there it is. But that's why I choose to eat the way I eat, to not have inflammation in my body, to not have pain. But when I first started it, it was just for weight loss. And it took me 8 years to dial all this in to get my 100 pounds of weight loss off. And I started at 185 pounds, so I was already down some. I was struggling to keep the weight off completely and to never gain it back. I don't know if you've been on that diet roller coaster ride, that yo-yo diet, but a lot of the times when we're gaining weight, we're just so stressed out that we are just trying to stay under a certain amount and we're trying not to go up. And so that was what I was doing. I was trying not to be 200 pounds. And so it's really cool that I lost the weight and it was the solution I was looking for, but I didn't realize that my weight loss solution was my diabetes solution because I reversed my risk for prediabetes and the complications of diabetes. So that is all gone. My eyes are better, my hair is thicker, my skin is healthier, my whole body functions. I don't have any aches and pains, and I have no disease in my body, any medications. And so that's just super empowering, I hope, for you to hear, to be inspired and motivated to take back control of your health so you can do it too. And so that brings me to why I wanted to come on today was because I'm kind of like not dieting. I'm just kind of fasting a little bit more than I usually do because I want to get a pound down. And I'm focused on just getting a pound down. That's the focus. It's not a big goal right now because I'm already at maintenance weight, but I want to fine tune my body and just see if I can get rid of some more skin, tighten up my belly a little bit because, I am 61. Who doesn't want to tighten up their belly? And so I want my body to absorb some of that skin and tighten it up. So I decided that I was going to just maybe do a sardine fast. I love sardines. And you know what? That used to be food that people used to eat back in the 50s when they weren't overweight. That was actually considered a treat and something fun to eat. That was rewarding. It's just that because of the processed food diet, everything's gone haywire. Everything's out of whack because there's too much sugar, too much processed food, too much vegetable oils in our diet. And this is what happened. We dropped the natural fat, we dropped the protein. We lost that protection for good health. And so now you've got to bring it back. So with the holistic low carb method, you get to bring it back. And that's what I'm doing. And so, but I'm also not dieting. So what I'm doing is living my lifestyle. And this is how I'm doing it and what I'm doing. And that's why I came on today, because I do want to lose that 1 pound. That's my goal. But I'm not dieting. And so sometimes I play with my hormones and I play with my moods and I'll wake up and say, I'm on a sardine fast today. And I'll start out really good. I'll drink some olive oil because, I've got some really good $50 bottle fresh pressed olive oil. And what that is basically medication. It's medicine. So even though I'm not on pharmaceuticals, I take olive oil. And sardines are fish oil, DHA for the brain. So you got to think about all those things. All of my food is information to my body. The food that I eat, and specifically, I had titled this the number 2 foods that I am eating today to help myself with my health and weight as a woman over 50 are protein and fat. And so when I want to just kind of fine tune my body, my goal is to get into ketosis more thoroughly, to turn my brain on. If I'm really busy and I've got podcasts that I'm recording and I'm coming out here live, I don't want to eat right at that moment. And so it's a really good time to be preoccupied and just eat fat or eat some protein and don't worry about having a big meal. And so I've had 2 cans of sardines today, and that's my fish oil. And then I had some perfect aminos with that because it wasn't quite the right amount of protein that I wanted. And so I added extra perfect aminos to get more muscle synthesis. That's something I do. Plus, you got to think about the fact that we are not getting enough amino acids from our food. And so if you're not getting the right amount of protein, how are you going to get the right amount of amino acids for your brain? We want our brain to function. We need our hippocampus to function and to work. And we need to give it DHA. We need to give it neurotropics, like things that naturally are going to increase the health of our hippocampus and the neural features of our body. And that is mitochondria and metabolism that we're looking at. A little bit of the nerdy stuff here. So fish oil comes in there. Sunlight's another one. Getting out and having health adventures because that's stimulating your hippocampus. And the sardines from fish oil, but the good fats from polyphenols from the olive oil. That's really powerful food. This is all information to your body. Now, I did say I wanted to do a sardine fast, and that's been my goal for 2 days. And so I started yesterday, but I had a little stress yesterday. And so I have it's kind of like a maybe a when all hell breaks loose dessert checklist. Okay. So I have my own recipes that I make. I'm a baker. My grandmother was a baker. So I just bake everything keto. I actually made some pecan loaf yesterday, but it's for a special occasion on Wednesday. So one is going for that, and one is going to my mom's in Wyoming. And I'll show you a picture when I get that taken care of, when I put it all together. It's delicious. So ask me for the recipe. And so even though I've decided to do a sardine fast, if I have a little bit of stress, I'm just like you. I'm just normal. My brain's overstressed. I'm like, oh God, I just need a little chocolate, right? How many? Put something in the chat or send me a comment. Does that happen to you that you just feel like you need a little chocolate? However, I don't ever use sugar because sugar is a toxin and a poison to our brain and our body, just like alcohol. And that's why the body will drop everything it can to take the sugar out of your blood system, out of the blood glucose out of your blood and stick it into fat cells. So you're going to be storing fat. It is a toxin. Your body is detoxifying your blood system because it doesn't want too much built up in there. So you got to realize that. Sugar tastes amazing, but it lights up all the centers of the brain. And rats that are addicted to cocaine and sugar will eat sugar before they eat cocaine. And so you got to realize that it can damage your body and your brain. So look at it as a poison. And when you do, you got to think about, okay, what can I do instead? I still want to have pleasure. I still want to build serotonin. I still want to build my dopamine. I do. But I made sugar-free chocolate, and I also buy Evolve dark chocolate that has a sugar-free chocolates that I like that's just sweetened with monk fruit and has some inulin. But I like the one that's 100% dark chocolate. And then I was eating that. It has coconut butter in the middle, and I really like it, and it has real vanilla, and it's organic. So that's a good chocolate. No sugar, it doesn't raise my blood sugar, but it gives me a little bit of dopamine hit, makes me feel good when I have a little stress. And so what entrepreneur building a business and working from home doesn't have a little bit of stress as we're marketing everything and taking care of our clients and doing all the things, okay? And then something else happens, family stuff happens. So what I made my chocolate not too long ago. So I have a couple of baggies of sugar-free dark chocolate. It just has I just put maybe 2 drops of monk fruit into the whole batter. And I added a whole jar of coconut butter and a whole 16-ounce package of cacao paste and some vanilla. You could add chopped nuts to that. You can add more sweetened to taste, but that's how I made it. Now, I forgot I had a recipe. And it is, I keep this recipe that I give to my clients, and that recipe is a little bit different because it has a little bit less coconut butter, and I think it has some coconut cream. The problem with the one I made that you have to eat it right out of the fridge because it melts super fast. So I can't really take it anywhere unless there's an ice pack. But I love to put a little bit of almond butter on top of it. So that's my treat. And that's what I did. And so even though I think I'm on a sardine fast, I'm not really, because I decided to eat a hamburger patty today, and I decided to have a couple more bites of chocolate. So that was like 4 little tiny pieces of chocolate. And I did that yesterday and did that today. So here I am trying to do a sardine fast, but I'm not really dieting. I'm just intermittent fasting. And so what my goal is, and the number 2 foods that I'm just eating to get myself into ketosis and to just jumpstart my system and to cleanse my gut, because I'm doing a metal detoxification and I am remodeling my cellular system, basically, um, and tracking that with a hair tissue mineral analysis, because I have aluminum and mercury and cadmium and nickel, and it's all coming out. And so that's a lot of stress on my body. And so when I say that I am actually trying to lose 1 pound of body weight, I am trying to fight all my hormone imbalances, which I'm working on, and I am working on a metal detoxification. But at the same time, I decided I'm going to have a sardine fast. But I don't have the stress levels to manage the sardine fast, because sometimes you have to be in a really good mood to just decide to do it. And I've been there, done that. I've been following my method for years, and I've got a lot of success, and I've been excited about what I've been doing. But sometimes I just need a ground beef patty. And so that's what I did. So I had 1 can of sardines, I had my olive oil, and this is what I do. This is my cheat. And so if you need support and you can't get through a fast and you're trying to cut down, not on your calories, it's not about cutting out your calories, but it's about time restricted eating and eating within a shorter window and increasing your protein, but adding in more fats. And so some days it's going to be a higher protein day, and other days you might be a higher fat day. So what I'm doing is more of a higher fat day with less protein. And when you add in the sardines, that kind of does that. And that's kind of how an egg fast is. It gives you higher fat, like more of a 70% keto plan versus maybe what I normally focus on is a higher protein day. And so, and adding vegetables. So I'm not doing any vegetables yesterday or today. What I wanted to do was just do a sardine fast. So I did not succeed, but I did do a hamburger patty with a can of sardines. And so that's been my food today. So I've done 2 cans of sardines, a hamburger patty, and a little bit of dark chocolate. But the other thing that I've been doing, and this is what keeps me going and helps me stay in a more ketosis state while I am doing a higher fat and a lower protein. And what this does too is it kind of like turns off mTOR. So mTOR is something that creates growth in the body. So when you bank down mTOR, when you bank down your protein and do less protein and more fat, you're actually giving your body like a protein fast. And so that's something Dave Asprey talks about a lot is, do your regular diet, but then give yourself a protein fast. And if you're able to, and don't gain weight rapidly, you could do yourself like a not a feast day per se, kind of like a feast day, but like a refeed day. I just never felt comfortable with a refeed day because I'll gain weight back. And so I just don't do them. I don't need them. I'm a protein-based body type. That's my body metabolic type. Because I'm from Sweden and I'm Icelandic and Irish, I am a protein-based body type. And that's what my mom noticed when she put me on Atkins back when I was a kid and gained 200 pounds and had severe depression. She noticed that amino acids helped my body and my brain function. So that saved my life back then. It reset my metabolism, helped me finish out school at about 150 pounds. And so there I was on my yo-yo weight loss diet lifestyle. And diets don't work. We need to bring in the amino acids. We need to bring in the protein and the fat. Those are the two foods, protein and fat. And so then you fill in a holistic low carb diet. And the method is to bring in your vegetables per what your body needs. And sometimes you don't really know how much you need until you kind of, if you run the 6 diagnostic labs that I use as a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, the reason why this really works is because it finds those hidden healing opportunities. You might be somebody who needs to do more protein. You might be someone who needs to do more vegetables, but we can figure out what it is. And then if you're a man, you might be able to bring in more fruits and vegetables, whereas a woman might need to keep them lower and initially to reduce inflammation and jumpstart weight loss. And so there are some variations there. And so I've been playing with this, and this is where I want you to kind of think outside the box, is you don't have to follow anything very specifically. You just need to kind of tune into what your body needs to do on a specific day and like write it down on a piece of paper on the countertop and say, I'm going to do this today. And so that's kind of what I was doing. I'm going to do this today. And then I always focus on getting my hydration, getting my salt, getting my potassium and my electrolytes. And if I'm not eating a lot, I've had depression. I am a depression type personality. I am a if I think for Dr. Amen's questionnaire, I am a ADD brain and bit on the anxiety side of that. And so when I had wheat and dairy in my diet and sugar, I had severe depression. And so I had depression most of my life, not just obesity. And so one of the reasons why I never cheat and add those foods back in was because I was miserable and I didn't feel good and I didn't want to be like that. And so I've reclaimed my life. I've reclaimed the second half of my life because I did this in my 50s. I'm now 61. I don't have any disease, no pain in my body, no medications. I don't ever plan to do that. I use food as information to my body, and I want you to know that you can do that. And so that's why I wanted you to get on my email list so that you can get that email that's coming out tomorrow. And if you send me your email, I will send you that email if you're too late to get onto the list in time for that. But I have part 2 coming up on Wednesday or Thursday. And so the reason I like eating sardines is because first of all, when you change your bacteria in your gut and you stop eating processed food and you stop eating all the sugars, your taste buds will change and things will taste different. And so that's the goal, is to change your bacteria, reduce the inflammation in your body, create a different taste process, and you start to not have, you basically are turning off your sugar switch. So you no longer have that hormonal urge to go out, seek food out, and eat those foods. And so once you flip that sugar switch off, Here's the good news. You actually flip off your disease-causing genes as well. And so that's what my email is about, is that you don't have to have pain and inflammation. You don't have to have arthritis. You can actually turn all that off. And so that's why I do what I do. I live my holistic low carb lifestyle, and I use the methods that I've put together, that I've created for my clients as well. And I get out and ground and get sunlight and take health adventures, because that is necessity. That is the kind of an underlooked and untold process of weight loss. Because if you don't reduce the stress in your body, it doesn't matter what food you eat. And you could lose 20 pounds and be stalled out and have a plateau. I've been there, done that. That was me for 3 years. I had to dial in my gut health. So you could run a test to find out what's going on with your gut. I had to correct my hormones. You can run a test to find out what your hormones look like. I didn't know what my food sensitivities were. I couldn't dial all that in till I knew. And once I figured that out, when I ran those labs, I had information to empower myself. Plus, I empower myself by listening to the right podcast, the right information. And I always send information to my clients too when I hear something they need to hear, or that I think they'd be excited to learn about. Those are things that I do in my practice. And that is part of, this is a customized, personalized, holistic low carb method, where when we get that information from your lab work, we get to collapse the time. Find out what's going on in your body. Find out if you've got H. pylori. Find out if you've got a parasite. Correct everything with the right targeted supplementation. And then I support you so that you get the health that you need ongoing for that time period. And then, there's always checkups, and there's always continuations, that you don't have to do it all at once. Or you could join my 1-year program and invest and get 6 months of accountability free. It is an investment in your health, but it's here because my certainty and my conviction to guide you so that you feel comfortable doing these changes and making these lifestyle changes as well. That's the power that I have as a practitioner with my lived experience. Everything that I have learned, everything that I have practiced has gone into this method. It's my heart and my soul and my promise to you, my pain to purpose, to my mission. And living this purpose is to help you reclaim your life at whatever age you have. Because I love working with anybody in their 30s, because that's where I was when I was stuck, sick, and depressed. And I didn't know I was going to lose my 30s and 40s to obesity and depression and asthma. Every year, I would make a new change at my birthday, every year. And I would try again. So there was always a new action ready to go. And I would do that. So January 1st wasn't just a new action plan. It started right after Christmas for me, because my birthday's in December, at Christmas. And so I would always think, this is the year I'm going to do it. This is the year the weight's going to come off. And it never did. It was stalled. And so I was stuck and depressed all the way up into about 10 years ago, just past about 51 or 52, I actually went and walked down the Grand Canyon before I started before I started low carb, and discovered I had excruciating knee pain. And that excruciating knee pain, I hobbled all the way down that Grand Canyon. It was very hard. It took me 8 hours. It doesn't take me that long anymore, but it took me 8 hours that day. And I started Holistic Low Carb Method. I followed Dave Asprey's bulletproof plan, and it worked really well for me. I lost 20 pounds. My eyes turned back. My health in my eyes got healthier. So I was reducing my pre-diabetic risk. I was pre-diabetic. I had all the symptoms. My eyes were wonky. And I was 185 pounds. And so I stopped that. I turned it off and lost 20 pounds. And I stalled for 3 years. And I did everything he said. I did it all. I never cheated. And yet I didn't get weight loss. And so I also want to empower you not to give up if you have a weight loss stall, because your body has job to do inside your body, like cardiometabolic actions. You need to reverse the visceral fat. You need to do the cleanup, correct your liver, correct your thyroid. You have to correct your gut, you correct your hormones, you correct your stress. If you're living in stress, you may not correct it until you get rid of the stress. And so there's a lot of things that can be going on. So when you work with somebody like me who has that lived experience to kind of troubleshoot everything, and when you invest in the labs and you find out what your hidden healing opportunities are, those are your weight loss blocks. We can address that and get you healthier to lose the weight sooner than if you were to spend 8 to 10 years or longer to actually DIY this yourself. You can you can, and I would be grateful for anybody who wants to make changes in their lifestyle and who don't want the help. But if you want implementation with this method, that's what I'm here for, to help you get it sooner than later. And so you stop suffering, stop the overwhelm, start the worry. And so you might like eating a can of sardines and eating eggs and bacon and hamburger all the time, because when you eat food that's nourishing your body, it's not boring. You look forward to it. You eat the food you like, a pickle here and there, some kimchi here and there, some arugula, some parmesan, broccoli. You eat the food that's right for you at the moment of where you are in your lifestyle changes. Now, where I am in my lifestyle changes right now is close to maintenance, but I could still tune up my middle. It is a little flabby. I've never been a skinny person, but I'm grateful to be where I'm at 130 pounds. And tomorrow, I hope I got down to that 129, and I am going to I'm aiming for 128 pounds, because I was at 125, so I know I can get back down there, and I just have to, balance my stress and time my food the way I want to time it. And there's some days where I'm going to do more fat to get more into ketosis, and other days where I'm going to just protein load to build muscle. And so I'm going to balance that back and forth. But the number two foods that we want to eat when we're focused on getting into ketosis, specifically, if we want to jumpstart ketosis and just kind of, that's what Dr. Boz and Annette Boz, she's a neurologist, helping people get into ketosis. But she says, do the sardine fast, 3 day sardine fast, and you will get yourself into ketosis and lower your A1C. And that's why she likes it. I'm doing it to just get into ketosis so that I can have better brain function, so I can just fine tune. And that's kind of how I look at my maintenance too. It's like, I don't eat foods that are going to cause me to gain weight very often. I might have a little bit of starch from like siete tortilla, or eat later than I normally like to eat. But for the most part, I eat the same, and I'm in a maintenance phase. So if I want to kind of push things down and actually get into a weight loss stage with ketosis, I gotta try a little harder. And some days we wake up and we're like, I just don't want to do this today. I'm just gonna have a little bit of that sugar-free chocolate with some almond butter. And I actually didn't buy macadamia nuts, because that was one of the things I was doing, was eating macadamia nuts and dark chocolate. And so I'm not perfect. I'm just like you. I'm gonna find ways to kind of get around not eating the foods that that I want to eat, or that's on my plan to eat. And so there's some days where I just want to nibble on a little sugar-free dark chocolate and some macadamia nuts. So I purposely didn't buy the macadamia nuts. I purposely don't buy keto granola, because I will eat the whole package. And I purposely don't eat, and I no longer crave keto ice cream, because I don't want it, and I'm sensitive to dairy, and I want better health. And so when you actually look at everything and put all this together per your food sensitivities and what you find on your labs, then you get to create the diet that works for your body, so that you can have the health that you want, so you can reclaim health freedom. And so that's what I do, and that's what I'm focusing on when I wake up every morning and decide what it is that I want to eat. And some days it's going to be a can of sardines. It could be 4 cans of sardines. And so when I get off this call, I might have another can of sardines. It's not quite 6, so I might have another can. But I also, to keep myself from being hungry, and I was going to mention this earlier, and didn't mention it, but I'll do bulletproof coffee. So I had bulletproof coffee this morning with collagen and creatine. So I don't go completely without protein, because I like a little bit of collagen. And I had a can of sardines, and I think I skipped the perfect aminos, but I had the creatine. And then so I did have coconut milk with some more coffee and some coconut oil, and I tried putting butter in it, but but I used coconut milk and it was too cold, and so it just congealed, and so I just ate it off a spoon. I could waste it. So that's what I did. And then I put more coconut milk in here, but I didn't want to have another pack of coffee, so I had matcha. So I did 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, MCT, C8 MCT oil, because that's the one that's going to boost your BDNF, boost your ketone productions, and help you with fat burning. And so there's a lot of people out there that says you shouldn't eat the fat to burn the fat. But from my perspective of obesity, and if you've had depression and you have anxiety and worry that you're working on, you want to balance your hormones and your brain health, and you actually want to bring in a little bit more fat to settle it all down. And so when you feel better, and you can get better into action to lose the weight you want to lose, because you're feeling better in your body. And so that's how I balance everything, and how I work with my clients too. I don't put people on, you have to do this, 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 and this specifically. I give you guidelines. And each week I check in with you to find out exactly what you're doing, what's going well, what's not going well. Let's correct this. Are you losing the weight? Are you gaining the weight? Let's fine tune everything and course correct. And so I do that with myself. And that's, because you have to. We're all different. We're all unique. We're in different lifestyle stages. I am working with hormonal balance for myself. I was doing some hormones. They felt too strong. My mood was a little off. I was a little too teary-eyed, so I dropped them, and now I'm going to titrate back up to see where my levels are. That's what I'm doing. The other thing that I spent the last 2 years, guys, last 2 years or more, running hair tissue mineral analysis, the HTMA, 2 to 3 times a year to get my mineral balance information, because I have high aluminum and I have a calcium shell, and my sodium and potassium's been tanked. And so that affects your adrenals, and then it affects your thyroid. And if you can't absorb your calcium, it's stuck in your tissues, and you won't have good bone health. And so I needed to detox my aluminum to have that health. And you know what I'm seeing in so many other people's hair tissue mineral analysis test? High aluminum across the board. I found someone with arsenic, and a lot of low potassium and low sodium. And if your aluminum's too high, you can't get that calcium down. So you have a calcium shell, is what they call it. And so I am happy to report, and I'm going to do another call on it more thoroughly, that my calcium shell broke up. It went down to 80, and it was well over 260. And my aluminum, on the hair tissue mineral analysis, when you're dumping metals, they show really high. So they're up and elevated. And my potassium and sodium is totally up and elevated. And that's showing my stress response. It's coming out through my hair. It's really cool and fascinating. And when I got that test back, I sent it to everybody who knows what I've been going through. And it's like, holy cow, like, that's just crazy. Because it can look a little scary if you don't know what you're looking at. But Patty's on the call, and she saw that too. She goes, holy cow. It's like, it is a very interesting process, but it's so exciting because I've spent 2 years to get my body into this place. And it's not just the weight loss, it's the stress reduction, it's hormone balance, adrenal balance, gut health, brain health. All of this is tied in. So that's why I am not calling my program just a keto diet. I don't call it just a diet. It is a lifestyle, because it involves the FDN process of a whole, like holistic diet. From my point of view, that's a low carb diet, because I work with obesity, and that's where I have been. And so that's the only process, guys, that will turn off and correct your blood sugar and fix your broken metabolism, period. So don't let anybody tell you can eat sugar in moderation, but sugar is a poison. And I'm going to tell you that right now. If you're having a little bit, it's because you are addicted to it, but you can take it out, but you have to use those food bridges and bring in that safety kit of the keto foods just for a little while, till you can get rid of those, bring back in the protein, the amino acids, so that you can settle your brain down and actually focus on lifestyle changes. But I am so excited that I actually have gotten the results from this HTMA, because now I can actually get rid of mercury out of my brain, so I could get to the next level of healing. And so it is pretty exciting to find out what's going on in our body and use these tests to look under the hood and give ourselves a jump start. So I am excited to see all the progress that I'm doing. I'm going to do another video specifically on that, so stay tuned for that. I've got some really good things coming up, and I'm going to put together a video on getting why I do this method and how it works and what you can do. So I'm going to be putting something like that together. And then I'm just going to come in every once a week at the latest, a couple of times a week if I've got the time, and give you one of these presentations and tell you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And so I will put in stories tomorrow. If you follow me on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, you can follow me on Instagram, or come and head out into Facebook, because I do a lot of posting on Facebook, and I have my private I have my private Facebook group that you could request to join. It's the Holistic Weight Loss and Diabetes Solution for Women Over 50. So follow me. I'm Lori Ballew, LoriBalue, across the board, at my website, at Instagram, at LinkedIn, and on Facebook. There is no other Lori Ballew. Isn't that amazing? Just know you can take back control of your health. You can make the changes. You don't have to lose your 30s and your 40s to obesity like I did. You can make the changes now. You can reclaim your health after 50. I did. I went back to the Grand Canyon this last year and celebrated my 60th birthday, walking rim to rim, 24 miles across the canyon. I did have a little bit of knee pain for the most part, but not until 14 miles in. Or was it? No, it was 20 miles in that I finally had some inflammation. And I don't think there was a single person down there that didn't have some inflammation. But they were gone. All that inflammation was gone in 48 hours. It was just, wear and tear at that point. But we could do so many things if we put our mind to it. We can be unstoppable when we choose to get the help that we want. But it starts in your home and in your kitchen. And it is a choice to choose health and to not choose to be sick, because we can all have health freedom. Sometimes we just don't know what you don't know. And so don't be afraid to eat sardines and increase your protein. But the problem is, if you're having trouble eating protein, it could be that your digestion is not functioning, that you have low stomach acid, that you have H. pylori, parasites, dysbiosis. Running a gut test is going to give us the information to help us battle that, to figure out what you need to do specifically, so I can help guide you into the right direction, give you the targeted supplementation that you need to support your health. So again, today, if you come on late, I started off yesterday and today thinking I was going to do a sardine fast. And I did eat 2 sardine cans yesterday and 2 today. And I think I had a can of tuna yesterday, and I had a hamburger patty today. So I am doing a little bit more fasting. I'm a little hungrier, but I also use MCT oil, coffee, and matcha and collagen to help with my appetite. There's so many things we can do for appetite. But when the problem with appetite is that it is a hormonally driven. If your sugar switch is flipped on, you are in a search and feed cycle, and your body will not take no for an answer. It will send you to the store. I remember driving 2 hours to pick up this really healthy, raw, honey-filled apple pie because it was healthy. 2 hours I drove to get that, and of course I didn't just get one, I got 2. That's the power of the sugar switch turned on, even with honey and maple syrup and even dates. So if you have insulin resistance, and I would say 50% or more, probably 88% of the population has insulin resistance, which is a pre-diabetes precursor. And so the whole idea to use food as information and to flip the sugar switch off is to flip the disease-causing process off in your body. It's called epigenetics. And so that is a so empowering thing to know that we could do that. I'm going to do another video, but back in 2017, I had a spot of melanoma pop out. Just that one time. But I'd already been keto for 2 years. So my body, I truly believe, and this is my opinion, that I detoxed that melanoma out of my body. That was my bullet. And I dodged it. So what's growing inside your body that you want to dodge? What's the bullet that's coming after you that you want to stop, outmaneuver, outrun, and get away from? There is cancer growing in our body, and we have a process in our body called apoptosis, where we can kill off things depending on the information we give our body with our lifestyle. And so when you're eating processed food, you have disease turned on, not just your appetite. But when you actually flip that sugar switch off, you flip off the appetite and the disease-causing process in your body, and you get healthy to lose the weight naturally. May not be as fast as you would like it to be, but you keep at it like I do to get the results that you want to have, 1 pound at a time. I had somebody call me up, worried, and she goes, I think I need, what do I do? I'm only losing 2 pounds this month. Congratulations. Hooray. 2 pounds. When you look at this in 6 months, that's what, 12 pounds? That's weight loss. If you're not gaining weight, you're doing a good job. But you want to also make sure that you're eating foods that are healthy for your body so that you can have a healthy body and reclaim your health. So the foods to focus on with the Holistic Low Carb Method for yourself, if you're just getting started, focus on eating more protein. And eggs, bacon, ground beef, anything that you would eat for dinner or lunch, you can eat for breakfast. It doesn't have to be. Breakfast is just breaking your fast. And the later you break your fast, the better it off. But if your cravings are elevated, you want to eat more protein and not fast. And if you have a lot of stress, you don't want to fast, but you want to eat the way we used to eat in the 1950s, 3 square meals a day. With less carbohydrates, though, more protein, because you have to turn off insulin resistance, reset your metabolism. And so if you go to my website at laurieballou.com, you could see my framework where it shows you what I do in my program. And it's basically running the diagnostic labs. We're going to start a weight loss lifestyle process for you. And you're going to get 6 labs drop shipped to your house results and recommendation sessions for all the labs. And so you'll get more than one, and I'm going to explain them with a presentation. And then we're going to reduce those cravings. We're going to turn off the pain of inflammation. You're going to get less brain fog and more energy, and you're going to start to live your best life. And so this is when you reset your metabolism and you reset your blood sugar regulation and reverse the insulin resistance and reverse your issues for complications of prediabetes and diabetes. And so I lost my dad to diabetes and all the complications. I also lost an elder sister, but my brother followed my program and got all the results and reversed his problems. No longer has diabetes, no longer on any medications. And so this does work. But you have to choose your heart. Do you want to stay sick and unhealthy, or do you want to reclaim your health? So if eating a can of sardines eventually doesn't sound good right now, you might like it later. One of my clients, she goes, I'm just going to eat a can of sardines, see if I like it. She goes, I didn't mind it. I really kind of liked it. And she just has histamine issues. So I just reminded her, you need to be careful. You have histamine issues. So maybe sardines, even though you liked it, it's not a good food for you to eat right now. But your taste buds will change. And so don't eat sardines. Eat a can of salmon or a can of tuna and do that instead. But if you add more fat, add more protein, you could throw yourself into ketosis and get yourself off of those processed foods and start jumpstarting your health, reclaim your health, and lose weight. All right. I'll see you soon. I am going on a health adventure with my client on Wednesday, and that's going to be so exciting. So talk to you soon. Bye.